What did you say when Biden called you and said he wasn't running? Well, I immediately thought of him first. No, you didn't. You know, I mean, fracking. Dana Bash had her dead to rights. I was like, you said this. I have the quote. I'm reading it to you. You said there should be a ban on fracking. Why can't they just go, yeah, you know what? I got it wrong. I was talking to the wrong people. You know, she's had this ridiculously high turnover.
Bill Maher just lit CNN on fire, blasting them for shamelessly propping up Kamala Harris while constantly hammering Donald Trump. And you better believe this explosive takedown will send shockwaves across the left. The outspoken host tore into the network's obvious bias and its nonstop obsession with twisting headlines to favor Democrats, pointing directly at this slanted coverage as one of the biggest reasons Harris went down in flames. Maher's destruction of CNN isn't just sharp. It's one of the most searing and fearless critiques we've heard from him in years, the kind that cuts straight to the bone and leaves no room for excuses. Get ready, because this takedown isn't just criticism, it's a scandalous blow that will sting badly and leave CNN scrambling to defend itself.
CNN is the place where both sides can watch. And
I'm talking about the people on CNN. And I know what the conservative side of America thinks, and I don't blame them. They were just gushing about how great a speech it was. And I think she did fine. I didn't think it was as good as they were making it out to be.
Remember when CNN practically lost their minds every time Kamala Harris managed to string together even a halfway coherent sentence? A bland, "we must do better," suddenly transformed into what they called a groundbreaking policy vision, dissected from every angle as though she had just solved world hunger. They paraded a lineup of experts, academics, and talking heads to convince viewers that Kamala was the second coming of political genius, the woman destined to have every answer, except she didn't. Spoiler alert, she wasn't the savior they promised, and that's exactly where Maher did the unthinkable. He called them out publicly for their shameless cheerleading. He exposed CNN's coverage as desperate, dishonest, and downright embarrassing, ripping through their glossy facade with his trademark sting, reminding everyone that what CNN was selling wasn't journalism at all. It was pure public relations dressed up as news.
It does look like tokenism. It's kind of like the same as The View.
I don't think that you can say that CNN is anything but fair. Everyone who was speaking last night, it's not like they were all Democrats. I mean, we had Dana Bash, Jake Tapper, Abby Phillip.
They come across
giving
that way.
Analysis.
They come across that way. In a moment like that, it was like 5-1.
Caitlin Collins, in her best nothing-to-see-here tone, tried to shield CNN by insisting they cover Republican conventions and occasionally invite GOP guests on their shows. But Maher wasn't buying that weak defense for a second. Sure, he admitted they bring conservatives on from time to time, but he reminded everyone it's never a fair fight. It's always a heavily stacked panel, 5 voices against 1, leaving the token Republican looking like cannon fodder waiting to be torn apart. And then came Maher's knockout punch. He compared CNN's setup to The View, and ouch, that stung badly. Imagine that. The so-called serious news network running panels that look more like a daytime talk show circus, where a lone conservative gets mocked, outnumbered, and steamrolled by a liberal mob pretending to debate. Maher's jab didn't just expose bias. It highlighted the clownish theater CNN tries to pass off as serious journalism.
Conservatives do not trust CNN because it is so staunchly anti-Trump. He's not wrong, because they'll put on people like Adam Kinzinger or Anna Navarro, George Conway, and call them Republicans, or pretend that's being balanced by putting them on by saying, oh, see, these conservatives don't even like Trump. Only Scott Jennings over there can be called a conservative. And Maher is right. It's almost always 5-1 on shows they portray as news programs.
It's no wonder so many people don't trust CNN anymore, because their idea of balance is nothing more than pure tokenism. And the proof is right there for everyone to see. They drag in so-called Republicans who either can't form a strong argument or aren't even true conservatives to begin with, turning them into easy props for the liberal panel to attack and look smart against. These so-called Republican voices aren't there to challenge anyone. They're there to be punching bags, carefully chosen to give the illusion of fairness, while the panel delivers a staged beatdown. That kind of hypocrisy drives Bill Maher absolutely crazy, and honestly, it drives viewers away too, because people aren't stupid. They can see when a network is stacking the deck. This is exactly why conservatives and even many independents tune out and find alternatives, because CNN isn't offering honest debate. It's serving up scripted theater designed to fool the audience, and the act is wearing thin fast.
Do you have the time? Your answer is not, I do. If you, do you have the time?
Right.
Yes, it's 4 o'clock.
Well,
you have to understand that words don't always mean what they mean.
And when Tim Walz said, like, the American people, I talk like they do. No, you don't.
No.
No, you don't. You're
Nobody
a huge
sits around
liar,
talking about that.
like
Yeah.
all politicians are. I don't care, by the way. I've always said this about politics. They're all going to lie. They're politics. It's what they lie about. I don't give a what you did during the Iraq War. You were in the Guard. So I don't understand why they just can't. You're just insulting my intelligence.
Bill Maher wasn't holding back here. He ripped into both Kamala Harris and Tim Walz for the shameless lies they told during their softball interviews, exposing just how far they'll go to polish their images. Walz, flashing that well-rehearsed political grin, has been caught exaggerating or outright fabricating details about his involvement in certain political and even military events, desperately trying to pose as some kind of seasoned warrior statesman when the facts don't back it up. Meanwhile, Kamala Harris left her own trail of tall tales, boldly claiming she had been to the border when in reality she hadn't even set foot near it, and her team added more smoke by spinning another absurd story that she didn't go on Joe Rogan's podcast because Rogan supposedly wouldn't let her on. Maher wasn't fooled for a second. He saw straight through the smoke and mirrors, calling out this dishonesty for what it was: deception dressed up as credibility. In his view, this isn't politics as usual. It's outright manipulation, and CNN's soft treatment of these lies only makes the betrayal of public trust even worse.
When she said, what did you say when Biden called you and said he wasn't running? Well, I immediately thought of him first. No, you didn't. You know, I mean, fracking. Dana Bash had her dead to rights. I was like, you said this. I have the quote. I'm reading it to you. You said there should be a ban on fracking. Why can't they just go, yeah, you know what? I got it wrong. I was talking to the wrong people. You know, she's had this ridiculously high turnover. Like 42 of 47 people as vice president are gone. Just blame it on them. You know why these assholes are gone? Gave me the wrong information on fracking.
This is classic Kamala Harris. Dodge the question, shift the blame, and hope no one notices because it has practically become her political trademark. Take fracking, for example. She flat out lied about her past positions, rewriting her own history the moment it became politically inconvenient, as if people wouldn't remember. And then came her infamous word salad moment, a performance that could have won an award for stuffing the largest number of empty phrases into one rambling answer. When asked what she could do better than Joe Biden, she didn't present a bold vision or even a clear policy. She unleashed one of the most incoherent rambles ever televised, a messy jumble of half-thoughts stitched together to sound profound, but ultimately meaning nothing. Maher couldn't resist spotlighting it because it perfectly captures Kamala's political style. Say a lot, mean very little, and hope the media spins it into brilliance. But this time, more people are seeing through the act, noticing that behind the endless words and practiced delivery lies a hollow performance that rings emptier every time she tries it.
What the bug up there is about IVF. I mean, I certainly understand abortion. You know, there's a baby growing in the womb. I get it. It's going to be a human. Doesn't bother me. But yes, it is murder. Again, doesn't bother me that it is.
You're not supposed to mess with that. That's what many people think. You're supposed to let.
Oh, I see.
Great man upstairs.
Oh,
yeah, it goes back to that stem cell debate that George Bush had.
Yes.
Remember? It goes like the Terry Schiavo. It's just like life, laugh. We support laugh.
Bill Maher is completely wrong here, and it's not even a close call. His open support for the ending of innocent unborn lives is a glaring moral contradiction that will forever keep him from fully aligning with conservatives. He tries to posture as a truth-teller, yet how can he claim to fight for justice while excusing children being punished for the recklessness of their parents? That hypocrisy is impossible to ignore. On one hand, Maher never misses an opportunity to scorch the Catholic Church for its failure to protect children. And fair enough, those failures deserve criticism. But then, with the other hand, he casually shrugs off the destruction of unborn lives, as though those children don't count, as if they're invisible. That's not just inconsistent. It's grotesque, a moral blind spot so massive it undermines his entire credibility. Maher wants to stand tall as the fearless voice of reason, yet this hypocrisy exposes him for what he really is, a man willing to ignore the most obvious truth in plain sight, that justice cannot exist while the most innocent are sacrificed for adult mistakes.
What explains Donald Trump's appeal to young men? I saw today that the gender gap, I think, is the widest. I mean, it's very predictable. I mean, the women are much more for Kamala and the men are much more for Trump generally.
But it's not predictable if you look at past elections where voters under 30, generally men and women, went for Democrats. This is remarkable. I think to explain it...
Wait, you're talking about under 30?
Yeah, the under 30
What's going
gender
on
gap
there?
is very different than past elections.
What's
so in 20...
Bigger?
Kamala Harris is rapidly losing her grip on young men, the very demographic that once gave Democrats a massive boost in 2020. And the reason why couldn't be clearer. For years, Democrats have pushed narratives that chipped away at masculinity, leaving many men feeling sidelined, diminished, or outright useless. And instead of changing course, Harris doubled down on the same failed formula. When the time came to pick a running mate, she had the perfect opportunity to inspire younger voters by elevating a younger man who could rebuild trust and bring energy back into the fold. But she didn't. Instead, she went with an older, safe choice that inspired no one, a decision that only widened the gap with disillusioned young men. Meanwhile, Donald Trump made the opposite move, selecting a younger running mate that sent a powerful message. He values the strength, energy, and future of young men, and he's willing to prove it with action. The contrast could not be sharper, and it's one of the key reasons Harris is bleeding support from a group Democrats cannot afford to lose. Because without them, her campaign is in serious trouble.
In 2020, young men and young women voted for Joe Biden at roughly the same rate. Over the last 4 years, and now with Kamala Harris, young women are voting for Kamala Harris at that same level, if not more. Kamala Harris has barely moved the needle with young men. They have gone more toward Trump. There's a lot of reasons for that. I think Trump has exploited culture war stuff. He appears on hyper-masculine podcasts, and he just seems like a fun bro who's not going to ban your zins, you know?
These people just don't get it. They laugh, mock, and sneer at podcasts that promote healthy masculinity as if strong men are some sort of cultural threat, when in reality, the truth is undeniable. Strong men build strong families, strong communities, and ultimately strong nations. Weak men, on the other hand, create chaos, dependency, and broken systems. And disturbingly, that seems to be exactly what the left is encouraging through its constant attacks on traditional masculinity. But America has already spoken loudly on this issue. Back in 2016 and again in 2020, millions of voters rallied behind Donald Trump, a candidate who unapologetically embodied toughness, resilience, and defiance against the forced feminization of institutions and policies. That movement wasn't just about politics. It was a cultural rebellion, a declaration that people were done being told masculinity is toxic, and they wanted leadership rooted in confidence, conviction, and unapologetic strength. Whether the elites like it or not, the demand for real toughness and bold leadership is not going away. It's only growing stronger, and the pushback against those who dismiss it will shake the culture for years to come.
This could actually be, this is a real issue for Kamala Harris, though. Like, this could be fatal for her campaign. So if Democrats need to win 60% of the youth vote to win the White House. Hillary came up short. Obama did it. Biden did it. Kamala Harris is right now at like 55% of the youth vote. If she doesn't get to 60, she could lose the election. And it's because young men, Gen Z men, are breaking to Trump.
Kamala Harris is staring down a political disaster if she doesn't finally confront the very real reasons why young men are abandoning her in droves. Because this isn't some small hiccup. It's a ticking time bomb for her campaign. Young men, once a crucial voting bloc for Democrats, are now skeptical, frustrated, and increasingly turning away from her message. And the reason is clear. The party has spent years pushing an agenda that mocks masculinity, emasculates men, and tries to feminize everything in sight. If Harris has any hope of survival, the first step is obvious. She must cut out the woke virus infecting her platform and reject the poisonous narrative that strength, toughness, and traditional masculinity are problems to be solved. Until she does, young men will continue to see her as part of the very movement trying to strip them of purpose and identity. And come Election Day, they will deliver their disapproval loud and clear at the ballot box. At the end of the day, Harris and the Democrats face a brutal reality. Their war on masculinity is backfiring badly, alienating a generation they cannot afford to lose. Bill Maher's critiques only shine a harsher spotlight on the cracks in their platform. But unless Harris changes course and starts respecting strength, her campaign is finished, because young men won't be cheering for her. They'll be voting her out. And with that, we've reached the end of today's video. If you enjoyed it, smash the like button, hit subscribe, and stay tuned for more explosive content just like this.